Well, I am a little bit late. Excuse me. Getting out here for my morning constitutional. It's sometime after 11, it's nearly noon time. And I am just now getting out here. But for a good cause, I was being blessed. Some really nice landscapers were out here doing some work, and Joshua was cutting the backyard for me, and my brother was here delivering a table for me, and yeah, it's been a busy but blessed morning, and I am just now getting out here. Okay, roll. Pandemic pooch. And I am just now getting out here to enjoy. Now, you know I've had a cup or two. An obstacle is often a stepping stone. So I am just now getting out here to enjoy this backyard, and it's that much more enjoyable now that it's been cut. And I just wanted to have a moment of gratitude. I have been up against quite a few obstacles here recently, both personally and professionally. And the Lord has been reminding me, God will show you who He is. God will show you what He thinks of you. He'll give you words to say about yourself. You don't have to come up with it. He will give it to you. And I'm going to just testify briefly to encourage myself and to challenge you to encourage yourself, and to think back over some victories you have, some victories you've had, and some opportunities that have come up that have shown you, some incidences that have come up which have shown you who God is in your life and what He thinks about you, what He has told you about you. So let me go quickly. I'm going to go quickly because I got to get back to my communing and my quiet time. But I remember for the last nearly 3 years I've been in private solo practice with my law firm, and this is not an advertisement. I'm not making any representations. I'm not trying to get clients. I'm not establishing an attorney-client relationship with anyone listening. This is for you to establish a relationship with the Lord, like I am, and I'm deepening my relationship currently. But I in the past 3 years, my solo practice has been doing really well, and this is the second iteration of my solo practice. I had a first practice shortly after I got licensed back in 2003, and I closed it in 2005. I closed it in 2005, or maybe early 2006, before the birth of my son. Well, anyway, so let me just testify to God's goodness. And in the face of these challenges, God has reminded me. God will bring stuff up to remind you of His goodness, not to throw it up in your face, but to show us that we really do rely on Him, and that He really is faithful. So one day, this has been a few months ago, I had settled a case, and I had gone to the bank where my client security account is, and so I was taking a settlement check to deposit. Well, anyway, that particular account is old. It dates back to my first law firm, more than 15 years ago. My son is about to be 15, and so the bank teller, there was a different bank teller, because when I had been going in these last 3 years, I had been dealing with the same couple of people, but this lady was totally new to me. And so she wasn't familiar with me, and so she was reconciling the difference between the name, the account name, and the name on the check. The settlement check had my current law firm's name. And so in looking through the history on the account, and I was, had given her my ID and told her who I was, or what have you, this is what the Lord spoke to me through that lady. Because she says, she was curious. And so she says, oh, okay. When she was deciding to go ahead and allow the deposit, she said, oh, okay, you do this all the time. I'm looking in the history. I see that you make frequent deposits. And I had in previous times, when I had started my firm back up, I had settled a few cases, but excuse me, the prophetic word that was being spoken into my spirit was that you do this all the time. You settle cases and win cases and bring big checks and deposit them all the time. I'm dealing with a couple of professional challenges right now, and the Lord was telling me, baby, you do this all the time. You win all the time. You win all the time. And so that was one instance. Another instance, because I'm just going to go on and tell y'all, another instance, I was in court and I was standing directly next to my client in front of a judge. She's sitting on her bench and she's ruling in our favor. And I had worked on that case, y'all. I had lost a little sleep on that case, a lot of sleep on that case. And God had coached me through that. I deal with self-doubt quite a bit for various reasons, but this is what this judge looked in my client's face and said, Mr. Client, you have a good attorney. I am very impressed with Ms. Neely's work. And y'all, for somebody who is out here, entrepreneurs have a hard time. And so for somebody for the Lord to send validation like that through a judge, it just, let me keep remembering who he is. And so she said that to my client in my presence. And it was the validation that I needed. I felt God saying, you're doing good, Andrea, keep going. Okay, another time. So recently I did some work for a personal friend of mine who lives out of state, some drafting work. And she had to take the documents and she took them to another city to use in a matter there. So the attorney that she was working with on the other matter got the documents and was looking over the documents and asked her, who drafted this? And so my friend said, called my name, Andrea Neely. And so he said this is clear and tight, and this is the work. This is how good lawyers draft documents. Another time, and y'all, all of this thing, particularly this thing with my client and the judge, this was October, November 2020. All of the other stuff happened subsequent to that this year. And so then I had the personal friend who took the documents. This last praise report dealt with a client who was very distrustful of attorneys, and I had spent quite a bit of time kind of reassuring her, and she had gone and once I had settled the case, once I got the case settled, she and we were waiting for payment. for the check, for the settlement check. And I was telling her what steps I would need to take once I got the check. That there is typically with my bank a waiting period up to 10 days, and then after that I pay subrogation. That's a term of art. I pay subrogation, and I pay the costs and expenses and other debts associated with the matter. So she had gone to another lawyer and had heard something slightly different. And you know, so anyway, we got it all ironed out, and I explained to her it was just a difference in how attorneys handle things, that I handle things a little bit different. You saw me about to say better. My way was better. Let me just be honest. Let me be honest. I don't know who she was talking to. I'm sure they were a fine attorney, but no ma'am, Pam, that's not how I do. I got to keep my reputation clear and clean in these streets. So I pay the subrogation when other vendors are aware that I'm counsel of record. No, they're going to get their money from me. We're not going to wait for you to give them their money, because you may not give them their money. There's no incentive for her to give them their money. But I have every reason, call the state bar and my license, to make sure they get their money. So that was just a little bit of difference in how, you know, the two attorneys handle things. And so at the conclusion of that, because it didn't get very contentious, but you know how some things have an undercurrent, and it was a little bit of an undercurrent of, I don't like how you do this, Miss Neely. And I, you know, I had to just kind of stick by my guns and be, you know, professional and nice, but firm, that this is how we're going to do it. And so, because my way is more right than that way. And so at the end, at the conclusion of that, when we got together to deliver her settlement check and the other paperwork, get her to sign off on the paperwork acknowledging that, you know, my representation is ending and that sort of thing, she said this: be mindful of the undercurrent, be mindful of the fact that she had gone to another attorney to check my procedures. And, you know, I never did balk at her. I never got offended or upset with her, because I understand I'm a consumer too. And so as I'm handing her the check and asking her if she had any more questions for me, she said, "No, ma'am." She says, "I'm satisfied, Miss Neely." And so the Lord, let me give y'all one more instance. And this just happened Friday. I had occasion to call an individual with an interest in a case that I'm working on. She picks up the phone. I introduce myself. I tell her about the matter that I'm working on. She was so angry at how I decided to handle the matter. She was angry about the fact that I called her instead of reaching out to her by letter. And I was going to send her a letter and documents explaining the situation, but I didn't want this lady to just go to her mailbox and there's this big packet of mail from me. And so she really took issue with the phone call. And oh, she let me have it with both barrels, y'all. You're unprofessional. No one has ever called me unprofessional. My friends would not even know me at work. I don't care how familiar I am with people. If they're a client, they're Mr. This or Miss That. I don't use first names. I don't use girl, man. I don't use sis, honey. I don't use any of that. But it came off to her as unprofessional. I can't tell this lady how to feel, but I tell you what. I sat there and I listened. I apologized to her. I explained to her that I absolutely was planning to mail her the information, but I just wanted to call her and let her hear it from me first, and and invite her to call me with any questions once she received the information. Plus, I needed to verify her address. And so by the time we ended that call, she apologized to me for her attitude, but it was because the Lord had taught me how, or it's teaching me, present tense, because I'm still learning this, teaching me how to not match energies, how to not match attitudes, how to behave like a professional at all times when I am in my profession. And it's just been a blessing. It's been the reassurance that I needed, because I was sitting around here these last couple of weeks like, Lord, I need some help here. I need some clarity here. What we doing? When are you going to show up? When are you going to help me? And the Lord was like, I've been telling you you're successful the whole time. Over there at the bank, when the lady said, you do this all the time, I was telling you, the prosperity is coming. The money is coming. When you stood next to your client before that judge, and she said that told your client that you have a very good lawyer, I am impressed. That's your name. That's your reputation. That's me establishing you. When your client, when your personal friend and client took your work to another attorney, and another attorney was like, whew, good attorneys, this is how good attorneys keep it tight and right. That was me giving you the respect of your colleagues. When you had that client who, after she had dug around trying to find some fault with you, could not find any, and said that she was satisfied, that was me establishing your name among the people that you will serve. And when you de-escalated a situation, you had every right in the flesh to bristle and to be insulted. When that lady said something about you that had never before been said about you, and you responded calmly, professionally, kindly, even validating for her that it's okay for her to feel that way, because we have to be careful. This is what I said. I said, yes, ma'am, we have to be careful in 2021. So I totally understand. When you did that, that was me teaching you that everybody isn't going to be agreeable, but you still can't come off of your throne. Y'all, be encouraged. It encouraged me. It encouraged me, and now I'm ready to tackle these challenges head on. I'm ready, because I know that my God is real, and He is establishing me, and all of these different ways, He is establishing you. He's building your reputation. He's laying the groundwork. He's giving the resources. You do this all the time. You deposit big settlement big checks, big verdict checks, big donation checks. Your name is great in the land. Your colleagues, you have the respect of your colleagues. You do. A good name is to be valued above many riches. You have a good name and the many riches. And you know how to de-escalate. You're not petty and you're not immature. You don't come down off of your throne. You elevate, even when you're correcting, even when you're rebuking, you're edifying, you're educating. You're great. God is showing you. God has told you through me. He's used me to tell you that you are precisely where you need to be. And you're not alone. There may not be a bunch of other, professionals whirling about you and advising you, but God is mentoring you. God is leading you. He is a lamp unto your feet, a light unto your path. Your crooked places are straight. Go forward. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in His way. Be delighted that God is ordering your steps. You're going to get there. You're going to get to a good place, a large place, a high place. In Jesus' name. I'm thankful today. And I'm encouraged today. And I hope that you are too. Now, grab your favorite Daytime drink: coffee, water, tea, juice. And no. Be still and know. Have a good day. That's all I got. Wasn't that a lot? 20 minutes in. I gotta go. Bye.